I think we're almost 24 hours away from the inauguration of the 45th President of the United States. Where does he stand in an open society?
Well, I have described him as an imposter and con man and a would-be dictator.
Well, thank you very much, Klaus, and very special congratulations on your 50th year hosting the annual meeting of the World Economic Forum, a truly amazing achievement. It's an honor to address the distinguished members of this organization for the second time as president. When I spoke at this forum 2 years ago, I told you that we had launched the great American comeback. Today, I'm proud to declare that the United States is in the midst of an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen before. We've regained our stride, rediscovered our spirit, and reawakened the powerful machinery of American enterprise. America is thriving, America is flourishing, and yes, America is winning again like never before.
Clearly, I consider the Trump administration a danger to the world, but I regard it as a purely temporary phenomenon that will disappear in 2020 or even sooner.
Brace yourselves. Here comes COVID again, and the United Nations Secretary General seems positively thrilled. When people today say that it's just ridiculous, it's ridiculous conspiracy theorizing paranoia to even suggest that the rioting and the economic lockdown now and all the mayhem that we see in the streets is about derailing the election of one guy, President Donald Trump. So when people say that it's paranoid, I say you just haven't been paying attention to what's been going on for a long time. You see, they're boldly admitting what something like this pandemic is all about now. This is not a conspiracy theory. You can understand if you just kind of open your eyes, look at some of the evidence, you can understand why, yes, even one guy, the American president, could pose a serious threat to these guys. Here's Antonio Guterres, who is the UN Secretary General. He's a Catholic, by the way, coming right out and admitting what this pandemic is all about. Check it out.
There is a lot of talk about the need for a new normal after this crisis. But let's not forget that the pre-COVID-19 world was far from normal. Rising inequalities, systemic gender discrimination, lack of opportunities for young people, stagnant wages, runaway climate change, none of these things were normal. The pandemic exposed tremendous shortcomings, fragilities and fault lines. The world of work cannot and should not look the same after this crisis. It's time for a coordinated global, regional and national effort to create decent work for all as the foundation of a green, inclusive and resilient recovery.
So you began to see why COVID is back? They didn't even have time to wait for the second wave, did they? Because they're concerned. Donald Trump's hit the road again, hasn't he? He's beginning to tell America to come back out of their houses again. Yeah, he was played early on, just like everybody else was, with this whole pandemic and the lockdown. But now he's saying, wait a minute, I've been had, something's happening here, we got to get back to work, we got to get the economy getting back, and they're not going to let that happen. So that's why they keep talking about this new normal, you see, because they're looking for a global reset on economics, on education, on everything, on government.
Now is the historical moment, the time, not only to fight severe virus, but to shape the system.
We have a unique but rapidly shrinking window of opportunity to learn lessons and reset ourselves on a more sustainable path. It is an opportunity we have never had before and may never have again. So we must use all the levers we have at our disposal, knowing that each and every one of us has a vital role to play.
Now is the time to think what history would say about this crisis. And now is the time for all of us to define our own role. What is it that would make it so that history would look at this crisis as the great opportunity for reset.
The time for skepticism is over. People are flowing back into our country. Companies are coming back into our country. Many of you who I know are coming back in with your plants and your factories. Thank you very much. America's newfound prosperity is undeniable, unprecedented, and unmatched anywhere in the world. America achieved this stunning turnaround not by making minor changes to a handful of policies, but by adopting a whole new approach centered entirely on the well-being of the American worker. Every decision we make on taxes, trade, regulation, energy, immigration, education, and more is focused on improving the lives of everyday Americans. We are determined to create the highest standard of living that anyone can imagine. And right now, that's what we're doing for our workers, the highest in the world. And we're determined to ensure that the working and middle class reap the largest gains. A nation's highest duty is to its own citizens. Honoring this truth is the only way to build faith and confidence in the market system. Only when governments put their own citizens first will people be fully invested in their national futures. In the United States, we are building an economy that works for everyone, restoring the bonds of love and loyalty that unite citizens and powers nations. Today, I hold up the American model as an example to the world of a working system of free enterprise that will produce the most benefits for the most people in the 21st century and beyond. A pro-worker, pro-citizen, pro-family agenda demonstrates how a nation can thrive when its communities, its companies, its government, and its people work together for the good of the whole nation. America will always choose independence and cooperation over global governance, control, and domination. I honor the right of every nation in this room to pursue its own customs, beliefs, and traditions. The United States will not tell you how to live or work or worship. We only ask that you honor our sovereignty in return.
Clearly, I consider the Trump administration a danger to the world.